What's up, everybody? Welcome back. Happy week. 1 week closer.
Happy what?
Happy week.
Okay.
It's Thursday. The week's almost over.
Yeah.
The hard part is, the week's almost over for most, and
Let's go.
for us, it's just starting
Yeah.
live.
Unfortunately.
Crazy, but it's good. We are 1 week closer to March. It's starting to feel like March. It's warm.
We're 1 week closer and 1 week away. Well, this Saturday is literally March.
Yeah. Oh, boom. There it is. Yeah, I forgot. 28 days in February.
Did you get outside?
Always get outside. Come on, Chris.
Always.
Literally every day. Y'all have to get outside every day.
Wow.
You know, well, we also have dogs, so it's easier to run around with the backyard or put them in the backyard. But do you get outside every day?
Have you ever slept in poop?
Yeah, we had a lot of poop in our backyard,
nice.
but we did. We spent a decent amount of time on Saturday and Sunday picking up the poop because it melted.
2 hours?
No, probably not 2 hours. Probably like 30 minutes of just straight picking up doo doo.
Nice.
Yeah, so that was my weekend.
All right, good job. I would say not always getting outside. I mean, in the winter, it's pretty tough.
100%.
But I would say most of the time when it's above 45 to 50.
Yeah.
We'll
Get outside.
a little bit.
A little
Go
walk
for a
around.
little walk-ski.
Walk ski?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, walk. Never a bad idea to get the blood flowing.
Yeah, I'm not /skiing. I'm going on a walk.
Yeah, thank you for clarifying.
Just making sure.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
no.
thought you were putting on the boots.
Did you watch any good basketball last weekend?
There was some good games. I will say.
Any standout games?
Let's see here.
They can be NBA, college.
Well, I think the NBA game, the easy one was it was a very interesting Timberwolves Thunder game. Obviously went down to wire. I didn't realize we played. Now this is Monday, so this is already packed, but back to back, but a home away.
Yeah,
that's crazy.
We've
Especially
done
after
that
playing
last year, we did it against Denver one time.
Okay.
I'm almost positive that happened.
Denver's.
Yep.
So you do the home game and then, but it's just so interesting because we also had. Granted, it's not it's still a later game today, but we had the late game. That was 8:30.
The last game, yeah.
Right.
Because
On
it's
a Sunday.
ESPN.
No, 100%. But then also to play the next day at that place is
Right. Same team.
crazy.
Well, we've played them 3 times since 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, we must not have played them in the beginning of the year.
I think we played them 1 time.
One time, okay.
But since they're in our division, we played 4 times.
So is this our last time after today? After
Yes.
Monday?
Yeah.
Okay.
I believe so.
No,
Which
on the
is
college
good
side.
for us.
No, very good for us. I mean, they looked pretty damn good.
Okay, college side. Maybe a standout game.
Alabama looked very good against Kentucky. Obviously, rivalry game in Alabama.
Okay.
Also, I think it's fair to say at this point in time, UConn is not very good. Granted, okay, you played St. John's. That's a good matchup. But even the games that we've talked about, you're playing Villanova, who's at the middle to bottom of the conference. Probably more middle.
Villanova, middle.
Middle. You go down to the wire with them at home. You just haven't looked very good.
Well, they're really not that good of a team.
That's what I'm saying. So I don't even know. That's the thing is they really don't have. I mean, McNeely's very good. I would say he's good. Caravan is Diarra Ball.
They could maybe win 1 game in the tournament, but that's it.
Really?
That's where I
don't
put them.
know. That's a
Because they
experience and the coaching.
Well,
I think Dan Hurley's a fine coach.
They have good coaching, and they really only have 1 to 2 guys that are experienced. That Samson Johnson, I believe, is fairly experienced too.
The big guy.
Him and Caravan. Otherwise, it's not that much experience. I just think that they have enough good players where if they play well in 1 game, then they can win that. But I don't see them winning more games than that.
Yeah, I don't see it. No. So, what about you? Standout games, fun games.
The Tennessee Texas A&M game was good. I enjoyed that one. And it showed that both teams can do it. Me.
No, both teams are very good. Well, I think the difference too
top
is
7 in the country.
Yeah,
but
they're also
time,
defensive oriented teams, which is crazy.
Mm-hmm.
So,
and then the other one was BYU Arizona. I'm gonna talk a little bit about BYU later. So
Yeah, BYU is surprisingly I think they're ranked now, but
yeah, they're 25. They snuck in.
yeah, I will also say this.
How's that Arizona?
Also on the flip side, it showed this weekend, and this has kind of been going on all year, but especially this weekend against Illinois, Duke is very, very good.
Yeah, they are.
Like, holy moly. Granted, it was a neutral site, sure, but
they won by 45 points.
Right, it was never close. So Duke is very good. Obvious statement of the day, but still needed to be said.
Shall we move into our?
Oh, I have a quick stat for you. Did you know? And maybe you could put on, if you were the commissioner. This is now your commissioner hat.
Are we
NBA now? This is NBA.
Okay.
So ratings at the beginning of the year for TV, like viewingship and ratings, down 26% at the beginning of the year. It's now gone.
Wait. So
viewership down 26%
from the beginning.
From the beginning. No, from last year to this year. Just at the beginning, up pre All-Star break.
Okay, gotcha. Down what percent?
26.
Okay.
After the All-Star break, it is now at like 7 or 8%. Compared to last year, down. So it's still negative, but it's up
not
17%. Right, so it's not as bad.
Okay.
If you were the commissioner, is there anything you would think of or could do to make it more interesting for viewers? Obviously, it's on the downside. Like, I think a lot of people would say that watching the NBA is hard.
It's down 7 to 8% because NFL's done and it's the winter, so not as many people are doing outside things.
Right, so that's what I'm saying. So that's obviously going to be every single year, but would you say there's anything that they could change to make the viewership go up? Obviously, last year at this time, they were
make it easier to watch games.
Up 7 or 8%. What would you change in the NBA, if anything?
Like rules and stuff?
Or just regulations, rules, anything? I mean, we've established that this year there has been, and I don't know if you can change this, obviously, but the amount of blowouts that truly have been per game probably has made an impact on it.
Yeah, but
you can't change that.
That's never going to change because that's just a result of some teams being terrible and some teams being very good.
Yeah. So is there anything you would change if you were the commissioner or try to get viewership back up? Or anything that you could even think is possible? I mean, like at some point you can't really change too much. Like you said, the teams are the teams.
I think that it has to be tailored marketing campaigns.
Okay.
To try and get people to be like diehard fans of certain teams. Like if you, I mean, and I would say that I fall into this category too. If you're like, okay, which team are you a diehard fan of?
Mm-hmm.
I would say my first answer would be the Vikings.
Right.
Is that your answer too?
Yes, 100%.
Yeah.
Well, I would say so. If you ranked sports that you like to watch, including college, what would it be? So NFLs are 1. We've established NFL's 1.
Right.
Then what would be your 2?
Probably college basketball.
And then 3?
Probably.
Is NBA over like college football?
Yeah.
Okay.
But I am probably not a good example because I'm not a big fan of college football.
Yeah.
During the fall, I'll have it on because there's nothing else to turn on, but I don't really care about college football.
Right. And then obviously there's baseball, I would say, is towards the bottom, and then NHL we don't really watch.
Fine, we're not hockey guys.
Right. But yeah, so
is that your order, or you?
No, I would say college football. I would actually even say, to be honest, and might sound horrible, before FSN, like when FSN was a thing and Hope got Twins games, I would watch probably more baseball than NBA. I really would.
So it would be NFL.
NFL is a superior. Like we're putting this in a tier. I would say it goes NFL, college basketball.
Okay.
College football is right next to MLB, but now it's hard because I don't have the network.
Yeah.
And then it would go NBA. I don't watch NHL. Actually, I would probably even put golf in that realm too.
Yeah.
The hard part is golf,
yeah.
Sunday golf. But,
okay.
Yeah, I just didn't know. I mean, the hard question is like, you can't really do much. I think the tailored stuff is great. I think the in-tournament is great because you have more competition. I just think the competition is hard, but you can't change much. It's like you said, some teams are just dog water. Mm-hmm. They really are.
Yeah.
So, I don't know. It's a lot of guys getting paid a lot of money, but...
All right, here's my question then, because I saw this. I can't remember who put this out. Apparently, So if you put everybody in the world,
Okay, so now we're talking world.
yes,
Okay.
this is a basketball related question.
Oh,
If you put everybody in the world
Okay.
in a one-on-one tournament, everybody,
In the world.
literally
Like ages
every-
1 to literally everybody. If you are
literally
born.
every person,
Okay.
okay,
Okay.
seed them from 1 to
Whatever X.
whatever number.
Okay.
There would be approximately 33 rounds to get a champion. Okay.
Okay. Wait, what? Oh,
Yeah.
I got you.
Because obviously it starts with whatever number.
Yeah, so it'd be
and
1
then
versus 1
after
billion.
one round, it would be half of that.
Yep, you keep going
after
half,
one
half,
round,
half. Yep.
half of that.
Okay.
So
I get
there's
it.
approximately 33 rounds in this one-on-one tournament in basketball.
Okay.
Okay. How far do you think you could get? How many rounds do you think you would be able
Oh,
to
man.
advance in
Okay.
this one-on-one tournament? 2-11.
Okay. Yeah, the
One-on-one.
same rules apply for everyone.
Correct. Just like a general
Oh,
one-on-one
man.
tournament.
You know what? I'm going to give, I would say, so I can at least win. I'm thinking I can win 1 round. The hard part is this.
Right. I mean, if you, in theory, if you're seated high enough, you're going to be playing like a 3-year-old.
That's what I'm saying.
Right.
So
that's
I would
one
say
round.
1 round.
That's 1 round.
This is me speaking out loud. So 33 is the whole way.
33 is literally you're
Championship.
playing the best.
No, it's literally NBA guys.
The best NBA guy. You'd be playing Kevin Durant from our conversation last week.
Got it. I would probably say, this is making me think now. I would probably say, I would give myself 33. I would say no more than 10 rounds.
Really?
I would probably say, I'm teetering between like 9 to 12. So I would say 10 rounds.
Okay.
The hard part is, I think the hard part is this, and this is
Seems
my...
a little low.
No, but the whole hard part about it for me is like, okay, so if you get to like the 7th or 8th round, like, so half of the world's gone, then half.
You'd be probably playing a high school
Kid.
Good
So-
high school
But
kid.
what also you could be happening is if I'm ranked at an 8, I'm playing the guy that's right next to me, and we're probably the same person.
Pretty close.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So it just,
How's your outside J?
it's not great. And my cardio and my conditioning, if we're not playing back-to-back days and get some rest time, sure. I don't know. I think 10. I would probably say the average person, well, not average, but if you're like a college basketball player, or like for you, are you saying like 16 or 17? Halfway.
I was gonna say a little bit higher than that. Like
Okay.
19.
Were you going to get to the 20? 20 would be a stretch.
20 would be a good goal.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I mean, once you get to 20, you're playing like very good players.
I think even after you get to like in the double digits, you could potentially be playing.
Yeah, like
Decent
mid-teens
guys.
is probably like very good
Good
high
competition.
school players
Yeah.
getting like slowly into college once you get to like the upper teens.
Yeah, I think so. The thing that's hard about it is like, so you think about the first round. First round, you're literally eliminating probably people that can't walk,
A baby.
a baby, or very old people.
Yeah.
Then you're coming
Honestly,
down.
maybe the first 2 rounds.
Yeah, and then
2 or 3.
right, and then after that, it's just continuing to shrink. So yeah, maybe around that. I think that's probably a fair justification. That's crazy. 33 rounds.
That came up on my TikTok today.
I mean, it probably has to be by round, like we just said. Probably by round 20 to 25. Like probably by 25, you're playing all college athletes / pros.
Like right around 20, I would say.
Because you have to think about this. You're also, there's like college, like women's college. Like it's men, women, everybody.
Yeah, it's literally everybody.
So yeah, that's a crazy.
There you go.
Good
There's your fun fact for today.
Yeah. Damn.
All right.
Makes you think though. That's a good question.
Let's jump
That's a great
into
question.
our 3 teams.
College
Okay.
basketball.
Yep.
Yeah.
Who we picking first?
First, I will take the Louisville Cardinals. New coach this year, new looking team. Obviously, was superior at one point. Had a little bit of a fall off.
Yeah.
Stuff.
Wait. Who are the teams that we did last week?
Oh shit! I don't have that. Did you write it down?
Yeah, I gotta find it quick.
You got a lot of notes.
These are from all of our episodes. Oh, there it is. All right, so first episode we did Texas A&M, Memphis, Alabama, Kansas, UCLA, and Marquette. Last week we did Wisconsin, Creighton, Baylor, Maryland, Iowa State, and St. John's.
Yeah.
So if you're interested in hearing those teams, if you haven't listened to those episodes yet, go back to those so that you can hear about those teams a little bit more in depth.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry. Continue.
So Louisville, yep, projected right now is 6th seed.
Mm-hmm.
They are now ranked 25th, or they ranked 19th. They were 25th the week previous.
Okay.
They've lost.
That's a big jump.
That's a huge jump. They've also been playing very well. I mean, here's the thing. The hard part is it's not compared to the SEC, so like playing in the ACC. The wins are not as extravagant.
14-2 though.
No, it's very good. And the losses though are what really kind of you'll jump farther up and down.
Yeah, because
or jump down.
I mean, if you're not playing Duke and
Right.
maybe Clemson, who is also one of the teams I'm talking about today.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a lot of opportunities for bad losses.
Right. And I would say they have maybe 1.5 bad losses. I mean, they lost to Oklahoma early on in the season, and then they lost to Georgia Tech.
Oklahoma's kind of like a
mediocre, right? They've been potentially last 4 in, first 4 out. But then their other losses: Kentucky, Ole Miss, Duke, and Tennessee.
All right.
So
that's fine.
They're streaking. They have literally won. They're 15-1 in their last 16 games.
That's good.
Experienced Chucky Hepburn at point guard, Terrence Edwards Jr., good player.
Don't they have like a bunch of transfers?
They do. They're they had the new coach, so basically all transfers.
Yeah.
And don't get me wrong, I mean, the previous years, they were literally the bottom of the ACC.
Yeah. So they needed to change something.
They could make a push here, and never know. 6th seed, potential upset pick in the second round to upset whoever they play, and we'll see what happens.
So they play. Would that be 11? They play an 11 seed and a 3 seed.
Yep, the 3 seed would be. So right now,
that little pod of 6 and 11, 3 and 14. Those are always the hardest ones to pick the second round.
Yeah, because technically right now, this is what's crazy though, because there's another team I'm going to talk about in here, but Kentucky would be who they would play if Kentucky wins. Could be a decent matchup. Kentucky's very good, but Kentucky's also shown a little flaws.
I mean, that's rivalry game. Louisville, Kentucky.
Yeah.
That's literally rivalry game.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens.
That'd be interesting. My first team for the day is Michigan.
Ooh, the Big Ten dogs.
Yep. They are currently ranked number 15. They're 20-6 overall. They're 12-3 in the Big Ten, which puts them at second, only behind Michigan State. But they just played last game, and they lost 75-62. So not like super close, but I mean, top 2 teams in the Big Ten. They are currently projected a 4 seed, which makes sense based off of their rank of 15. Good wins at Wisconsin.
That's a great win.
At UCLA by 20.
Wisconsin's 20? Or who's 20?
No, they beat UCLA at UCLA by 20 points.
Oh shit, okay.
So they dominated that game.
Mm-hmm.
And then they beat Purdue at home.
Okay.
Bad losses is versus Wake Forest.
At Wake Forest?
No, it's either home or neutral. I'm not exactly sure.
Okay. Either way.
It was their second game of the year.
So neutral, probably?
Yeah, one of the 2. Yeah, neutral. Greensboro, North Carolina.
Yeah, in their tournament.
Actually, that might be at
Wake Forest. That's their home court.
No, I don't think Wake Forest. It says versus, so neutral.
Okay.
At Minnesota.
Yeah, that was a bad loss.
That's not good.
That's a bad loss.
And then at Purdue, because they lost by 30 points.
Yeah.
That's a lot of points.
No, it's a lot of points. Obviously, the team named Purdue, it's like, okay, it's still Purdue. But still, 30 points is probably what people are going to look at.
But they split with Purdue, and they lost by 30 at Purdue. That's not good.
Yeah.
Here's what I'll tell you about Michigan. A lot of size. They got 2 7-footers starting.
Danny Wolf.
One's a point guard center. One's an actual center. And Danny Wolf creates a ton of mismatches, being that guy that can handle the ball and kind of like do everything for him.
Yep.
And so not that many teams can run a pick and roll with 2 guys that are that big. So they have the ability to create massive mismatches anywhere on the floor.
Oh, yeah. What's the guy's, Vladimir or something?
Vlad Golden.
Golden.
That's transferred from FAU with Dusty
Coach.
May.
Yep.
Fun fact for you, Dusty May was a hot name for the Indiana job. This is his first year at Michigan, and they just signed him to an extension.
He's from Indiana too.
Right.
He has ties to Indiana.
But is that not wild?
Yeah.
He's literally he has not finished one full year of coaching at Michigan.
Right.
And he's already received an extension because people were so worried about him leaving already.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
I think it is interesting. I also do think it is one of those things like it's probably on the smart end for them to do it because it's like, hey, we're going to give you this extension because we do really care and we think you're doing the right thing and want you to stay. Obviously, they're very good. But
right.
it's like,
first year?
100%. But then
that's nuts.
But then it gives him no other option to be like, I'm not even thinking about the Indiana job. Right?
Yeah, I suppose.
Money.
So they could. I mean, they're pretty solid. They got a pretty solid resume. They're in a good spot. They've beat some good teams.
Well, I think before losing to Michigan State, some people said that they potentially could win the Big Ten.
I mean,
they still technically could. I know, but that Michigan State loss was.
They rolled a lot of wins in a row there.
Yeah.
Was that 6 in a row?
Tough game today at Nebraska.
I suppose.
It's always hard on the road.
Yeah, but the
last game is Michigan State, so
I mean they finished Maryland at Michigan State. So
and Maryland's a good team too.
Yep. Oh yeah, we talked about them.
So yeah, I like it. I like Michigan.
All right.
My next team is St. Mary's. Currently projected a 7 seed. There's 15-1 in the WCC. They are basically taking over the WCC over Gonzaga. Gonzaga is actually number 3 now in the WCC. We're tied for second with San Francisco.
Ugh.
But St. Mary's basically taken over. This is the one caveat I will say about St. Mary's. I think they're an okay team. You're a 7 seed. People love picking the 7-10 upset, right? Also, very bad. It's not a very good conference. It's not great. You have
which 7 seed? Who are they playing as the 10 seed?
I don't even remember who it was.
Oh, West Virginia.
West Virginia.
I feel like that'd be a fine match.
Right. The hard part is West Virginia, but then you have to play Tennessee, so probably not.
But they get smoked.
Yeah, but the one biggest caveat too of why they could be on upset alert is they have one good player, Augustus Marciulonius.
Yeah, Marciulionis. Yeah.
He's the only guy that averages over 12 points. The next closest guy is 10 points. Then they have 2 guys averaging over 10 points.
Is that Saxon?
I don't remember his name. But that's what I'm saying is if you don't score,
they're a defensive team.
That's what I'm saying. That's hard though.
Yeah.
Because sometimes if a team, we've talked about this for previous teams, don't get me, defense is great. But when you're playing a team that can't score, and yes, they play good defense, so they probably average giving up. They're probably one of the best defensive teams in the league.
I mean, 60.9. That's
what they give up?
Yeah, that's low.
That's got to be top 10.
They're 5.
The
number 5.
Yeah, they'll play the second round. Tennessee, that was right there.
Tennessee's 4.
But I will say, that's
what do you think the over-under of that game would be?
Probably 128.
Tennessee averages 60.8 points against. St. Mary's averages 60.9.
I would say 128. They'll give them a few.
128?
Because the difference is in college basketball, though, the difference is in March Madness.
Less.
In March Madness, with 45 seconds left, even if you're down 6, you're still following. You're going to keep following. 100%. I mean, it might not get to that. I think Tennessee's offense is
a
lot better.
118.
But I will say this. If they play West Virginia's a good team. If that's how it goes and they're a 7 seed, I would actually potentially put them on upset alert first round. Especially because people love picking the 7-10 upsets. And if you have one good player who's basically your leader of every category, and he doesn't have a good game, tough to score. Mm-hmm. And guess what you need to do to win? You need to score.
True.
So, as much as I love Smoo, put him on the board.
Okay. My next team is BYU. They are currently ranked number 25. They just came into the top 25 rankings. They're 19-8, so not as good a record as the other teams that we've been saying, but they're 10-6 in the Big 12. I believe this is their first year in the Big 12, but that puts them at 5th place in the Big 12. Okay, get this. They're ranked number 25, but they're projected an 11 seed. How's that work?
Strength is good. It must be strength or something. I don't know.
But still, okay, you think, whatever, 4 teams, 10 seeds ahead of them, right? Mm-hmm. That's 40 teams.
Yeah.
They're ranked number 25 in the country.
Right.
How's that work?
I don't know.
That does not make any sense to me.
But it's like it's the same thing. I mean, the hard part is they're projected what?
They're an 11 seed.
11 seed.
They're number 25 in the country.
So if you look at this, you have teams that are in the 7, 8, 9 ranking, if not 6, 7, 8, 9, who are not going to be ranked. All these 8, 9 teams are not ranked, and they'll be above them, right? That's the thing. Even
that's
7.
what it is right now.
That's what I'm saying. Kansas ain't ranked. 7.
Yeah.
Ohio State 10. Yeah.
How's that? That doesn't make any sense to me because BYU ahead of them in Big 12 conference standings, ahead of Kansas, but yet Kansas is a 7 and BYU's an 11.
Name on the front, baby.
Well, you want to hear a good win for BYU? They just blasted Kansas by 25.
That's a statement.
So they said, take your 7 seed and shove it.
Yeah. Well, yeah, but that's the thing. That's the thing with BYU is that's also why I think if you're talking about a BYU team who could, if they're an 11 seed, that's not a good first round matchup
for the 6 seed.
Exactly.
Yeah, it'd be a terrible first round matchup.
Right now, it's Clemson.
Well, that's the team that I'm going to.
Exactly. So,
that's an issue. But so their 2 best wins are literally their last 2 games. They beat Kansas by 25 points. 35 points.
No, they smoked them. Yeah, it wasn't
close. That was an absolute beatdown. They won by 35 points. And then they just beat Arizona at Arizona on Saturday night, I believe. By 1 point, but still beat them. Questionable foul, no foul at the end. Doesn't matter.
Oh, God.
Still a W.
Low key. I mean, we're not talking about refs. There was a lot of stuff on the internet about that game.
Oh, yeah.
Holy moly. The thing about it was when you watch like the back angle, the ref watches the shot. He's watching the ball, has his hand up, watches the ball, sees it miss, blows the whistle then. Yeah. And it's like, wait a second. Sorry. That's not going to work.
Okay, so the last 2 games that they played are their 2 best wins. Bad losses at Cincinnati by 20. Cincinnati's
smoked them.
5th from the bottom of the Big 12. And then at Utah, who just fired their coach, not good. And then at Providence, who I believe their overall record is 13-14. Providence, yeah. And they lost at Providence by 20 points towards the beginning of the year, but still, you can't lose to a team that's under 500 at this point of the year in a lesser conference by 20 points. That just can't happen.
That's bad.
Don't have good. The bad losses are actually really bad. That's probably what's bringing them down the seed lines.
Right.
And the fact that they just started to win the big games. But here's the argument for them. They average over 80 points.
Yeah,
so they can fill it up.
Yep.
They're a top 40 offensive team scoring-wise per game. They also are very team-oriented. They average over 17 assists per game. Top 20 in the country.
Okay.
That's positive.
That is positive.
The thing is, I worry about them winning games that are going to be lower scoring. So games that they're not scoring 80 to 90 points.
Yeah.
Because that's where you see, like, if they're scoring in the 60s, 70s, like low 70s into the 60s, they're not winning a lot of these games. Like the games that they've lost, they scored 64 points against Providence. They scored 55 against Houston, 67, 72 against Utah. But they're really not winning any games unless they score like mid to upper 70s into the 80s plus.
Mm-hmm.
So if they're not able to score, then I'm worried about them being able to win that game. Or if they're playing a really good defensive team, that's probably not the best matchup.
Yeah.
But if they're playing a good offensive team, they can score with the best of them.
Yeah, on the flip side, that's what puts them potentially on the upset. Like, they could upset the team. Is literally they can fill it up. And they have multiple players who can fill it up.
Exactly.
But they also do kind of live and die by the 3. I feel like they shoot a lot of 3s.
Yeah, they got that ball swinging.
Yeah. What? Oh, swanging.
Yeah. That's right.
Okay, so watch out. Yeah, BYU. Cougars.
Yep. All right.
I feel like that's like the BYU staple is like they just shoot 3s.
Why is that, David?
They're just a good 3-point shooting team. That's how they recruit.
It's true.
So, my last team could be kind of a moot point here, but I'm going with Arkansas.
Okay.
Potentially sneaking in. I believe they were in the last 4 in now. Big time win against Missouri at home. Big time win. They beat Kentucky a few weeks ago. That's not good for that guy. And then
they are in the last four in.
They are
third to last team in.
Last four in. The caveat to this is I think if they can win 3 out of 4, they're easily in. If they win 2 out of 4 and then win a game in their conference tournament, I think you put them in. The hard part is Texas is a hit or miss. You have to beat Texas.
Texas is also in the last 4 buys, so in the next round.
That's what I'm saying. So you beat Texas, you almost could potentially flip with them.
Yep.
But then you have at South Carolina, at Vanderbilt, and then versus Mississippi State at home. So if you can win 2 or 3 of those, I think you put Arkansas in. They have big names. They just have not put it together really.
Mm-hmm.
And the hard part is, I mean, Coach Cal's kind of been a one and done guy anyway. So, but I don't know. The hard part about it too right now is they're the 11th seed that would have to go up against St. Mary's. No, they would have to go up against Louisville.
Oh, that's not a good matchup.
Yeah, so it's like they play the play-in to potentially go against Louisville. Not a good matchup. I think the difference is they have the star power, so I don't know if they're a team people want to play, but
their best player's hurt.
Correct.
Well, is he coming back?
He is coming back.
Oh, he is.
Yes.
Okay.
So he is potentially.
Is he coming back like conference tournament?
I think they said conference tournament.
Madness?
No, they said conference tournament. Well, this is what they say. The outlook is conference tournament, but who knows how far that goes. I mean, if
but
they only
hopefully for sure.
I mean, if they're for sure in the March Madness, probably if they win 3 out of 4 and they're like, hey, we're in. I don't know if they would force him to come back.
Just give him another week.
Yeah, give him some more time, but
okay.
We'll see what happens.
Because that would make a big difference.
Huge difference.
Obviously, if they're getting their best player back.
Right, 100%. Huge difference. So we'll see what happens. It could be a moot point. They might lose the next 4 games and be done for the season. So
also a possibility.
So
okay.
I said I just want to put that caveat out there.
At least they don't play like the top SEC teams.
Right. I truly think this Texas matchup is the biggest matchup. I mean,
yeah.
You beat Texas, you now could potentially flip with them. You just then have to beat South Carolina, Vanderbilt. Not easy wins. But
South Carolina's not in the tournament, are they? They're too far down.
No, South Carolina's 1-13.
Okay. So yeah, they're not.
So I would say no.
And who's the
Vanderbilt's right next to them. So Vanderbilt's 6-8.
Gotcha.
I don't know if Vanderbilt's in.
Yeah, they are. Last 4.
So they're both in the last 4. So that will obviously change, and then last 4 buys Texas. So we'll see what happens.
So I mean, if they win those 2 games, and then you would think South Carolina would be a win. So they should. I mean, if they win 3, they are almost for sure.
Yeah, and your last game at home, you play a lot better at home. So
it's a possibility.
There he is. So we'll see what happens. Arkansas.
Okay. My last team, I've alluded to it, Clemson. They are currently ranked number 13 in the country. And they keep just going a little bit higher each week. They are currently 22-5, 14-2 in the ACC. So they're second place in the ACC, right behind Duke. They have 2 losses in conference. Duke has 1. And what do you know? One of their good wins against Duke. So they have beaten the top team in the conference, which is positive. They don't play them again this year, so they only played them once, and they did beat them.
Only in the tournament with it, yeah.
So, I mean, if somehow Duke loses another game in the ACC and Clemson wins out, then they would have the tiebreaker over them, and they would actually be the number 1 seed in the conference tournament, which would be crazy if Duke was not the number 1 seed in the conference tournament in a year that the ACC has been said to be poor.
Below average.
Yes.
I will say Duke's, I mean, any game can happen, but Duke's last game at North Carolina is always just rivalry game at North Carolina. Should be a cakewalk. We'll see what happens. That's the only one I would put.
Maybe Wake Forest would be a potential
at
loss.
home, though. Cameron Indoor.
Yeah.
Tough.
Not great for them.
Yeah.
Okay. So they're good wins, Clemson, versus Duke. So they were at home playing Duke. They beat them, and then they also beat Kentucky earlier in the year. 2 pretty good wins.
Yeah, Kentucky's a good team.
They really only have 1 bad loss. I mean, they've lost 5 games total. Their only really bad loss was home against Georgia Tech. 3 overtimes.
Yeah,
close. So it was close.
Right.
But at the end of the day, you still lost to Georgia Tech, who's 13-14 overall, middle of the ACC, which is not great. So, I mean, they lost at Boise State. You could maybe consider that another bad loss. That's teetering on the bad loss category.
Right.
But, like, versus Memphis, I guess at South Carolina.
They lost to South Carolina. We just talked about South
Yeah,
Carolina too.
I
So,
didn't realize
that's
that
probably the
they
worst
had
loss of their schedule.
Yeah, at South Carolina and then against Georgia Tech.
Yeah, I mean they have the
So
Hunter.
we'll add that in there.
They have the Hunter brothers who are very good.
Chase Hunter, yeah.
Chase Hunter is
He's
very
good.
good. And then they also have what's the guy's last name? Chefrin or something. Chef. Yeah, he's the chef. Schieflin or something. Yeah, chef.
Something like that.
Yeah, he's the chef. So he's back.
They have that lead guard, which is always a positive in the tournament.
Yep.
And they are very balanced as a team. They got 4 averaging at least 2 assists.
So there you go.
Pretty solid.
Yeah.
5 players averaging at least 3 rebounds.
Okay. Yeah, it's pretty good.
So they're pretty balanced. They're currently projected as 6th seed. And their strength is their defense. So they're ranked number 45 in the country in defense.
Yeah.
Their issue is they are not deep at all. So that is not good.
No.
Especially
come tournament time.
Yeah, I mean they're not. They don't have good depth. They're very balanced, but if they get one of their top 2 guys, so they got that Chase Hunter guy, and then they got the chef. If one of those 2 guys gets in foul trouble or something happens, then that is not good, and they would be screwed.
Yeah, it definitely makes it a lot harder. Obviously, the depth is a big part.
Yeah.
But I will say they're just a team. I feel like that's just like silently creeping up the board.
Yeah,
because you don't really hear a ton about them. I mean, obviously they've had some big wins, but like you don't hear a ton about them. But it's like we're what now? Top 10,
13,
top 15. So yeah, good team.
They kind of. I feel like people have just kind of like forgotten about the ACC because the SEC and the Big Ten are so strong, and there's like over 10 teams that are projected from each of those conferences to get into the tournament.
Yeah.
So that's what everybody wants to talk about. SEC. You got all these good matchups. You got all these ranked teams playing each other.
Yeah.
And then it's like, oh, yeah, the ACC is actually still going on.
Yeah. And I think the hard part about the ACC is when you only have, you got Duke, Clemson, Louisville, solid. But like the North Carolina isn't as good as they normally are.
Mm-hmm.
You obviously have Virginia, who's bottom. Syracuse ain't very good. So it's like the top tier is very good when you have Duke, who's a potential national championship team, Clemson, who's very good. But I mean, like you said, they're 22-5 overall, 14-2, and they're a projected 6th seed.
Yeah.
So, and Louisville was the same way. They're basically the same record, both projected 6 seeds. So it's a huge drop off from Duke.
It was a 1 seed.
Yeah, potential 1 seed. Well, it should be a 1 seed, I think. But yeah, I don't know. We'll see what happens.
Okay.
Tournament's coming.
Yeah.
A lot of good players. I think need to freshen up right before to make sure I know which players on which team. I feel like I'm still stuck in last year sometimes. Like I got to figure out these players' names. Got to know who I'm going to ride this year because Creighton ain't doing it for me.
Hey, you got the chef.
You do have the chef. Might have to get my chef hat.
That's true. That is true. Do you still have that?
I don't know if I have mine. It was from our salt and pepper outfit.
Yeah. This
legendary outfit.
Yeah. This if you're looking for games to watch this weekend.
Okay.
Games that you would be able to see teams that should both be in, so they should be good games.
Mm-hmm.
We're talking like earlier Auburn, Kentucky. You can see if Auburn might be your choice to win the tournament.
Yeah.
They play at 12 o'clock Central Time.
So this is Saturday now?
This is Saturday. Yep. Yeah. Friday, not a lot of great games.
No, not a lot of great games. I will say this is obviously going to air already, so I don't really want to mention it, but Wednesday, Michigan State, Maryland. That's pretty much the battle for the Big
Great
Ten.
game.
One of the Big Ten top seed.
Yep.
And it's also at Maryland. Tough game.
But
this is already aired. So
yeah, on Fridays they've been doing like a spotlight Big Ten game on Fox. This week it's UCLA Purdue, so like it should be decent.
Yeah, Purdue needs a win.
I mean,
Purdue needs to win.
They both have about 20 wins in the season.
Yeah, Purdue's
both
been
11
struggling.
and 6 in the Big Ten. But like I don't know, that game doesn't seem too appealing to me. And other than that, there really isn't any games that have like for sure tournament teams in them. It's a lot of smaller schools.
Yeah, I will say Sunday, Michigan State then plays at home against Wisconsin.
Damn, we're
So
already
they're-
jumping to Sunday?
Well, you just said that. Well, I'm just caveating to the Big Ten, staying Big Ten.
Okay.
So you have Wisconsin playing Michigan State. So Michigan State this week plays Maryland and Wisconsin. It's tough 2 games if you ask me.
That is a tough 2 games.
Yeah. But Big Ten's legit.
But you want to know what happens on Sunday?
Conference tournaments?
First conference tournament. It's
Well, because
going.
what is there? There's. Wait.
Yeah. Because there's some tournaments, conference tournaments that may have more rounds, like pigtail games into, and it's not like the bigger conferences where it's like from Tuesday to Sunday and it's every single day there's a round.
Mhm.
Like some of the smaller tournaments, depending on if it's just at the higher seeds gym,
Right.
like there's going to be days before
Yeah.
the
100%.
next game.
100%.
And so they got to start far earlier. So on Sunday, March 2nd, you got the first round of the A-Sun tournament.
That's crazy.
So that's pretty exciting.
It's already starting.
But yeah, all right. So Wisconsin, Michigan. Well, let's go back to Saturday. And then we can go back to Sunday.
Yeah, you got Kentucky, Auburn. Big game in the SEC.
Kentucky, Auburn at 12 o'clock.
I actually think low-key this Kansas-Texas Tech game. And the only reason I'm saying it, and I know
At
Kansas is low
Kansas.
down, it's at Kansas.
Yeah.
Never an easy place to play. They need to win.
You probably learn more. I mean, this is a tough week for Texas Tech. They play Houston tonight on Monday. And then they play Kansas at
Both on
Kansas
the road.
Saturday. Yeah. So you'll probably learn more about Texas Tech
Yeah.
than maybe the other teams.
Right. I mean, the thing about it for the other side, like for Kansas, is if the Kansas picks up the win, it's just looked at as a great win. And I'm not saying they need it to get into the tournament, but it's just like, okay, it gives people confidence to be like, okay, this team is actually legit.
Right.
But you also then have Florida, Texas A&M in the SEC.
What time is that?
That's 7:30.
Oh, late night.
Yeah, but that's not on ESPN. That's on the SEC network. ESPN has Iowa State,
Yeah,
Arizona,
Hate that.
Big 12 matchup
Alabama, Tennessee. 3 o'clock.
is also on ESPN. So those are the two ESPN
6 and
games.
5 in the SEC.
Yeah, at Tennessee. It'll be interesting. That game actually might be very more interesting because here's the thing: number 1 scoring offense, number 1 scoring or top 5 scoring defense.
Yeah.
In Tennessee. So
And if you're looking for like an undercover great game, middle afternoon, if you're not doing anything, Utah State at Colorado State.
are those the top 2?
No,
Oh,
but they're 2 and 3, I believe.
okay.
Utah State is 14 and 3 in the Mountain West. Colorado State's 12 and 4.
Okay.
But Utah State 24 and 4 overall. Colorado State 18 and 9.
Yeah.
So and Utah State beat Colorado State last time at Utah State. Now it's at Colorado State. It's at 3 o'clock usually, but Colorado State's got our guy Nick Clifford. Well, my
So
guy.
the question is, dude.
Usually it's late night. And he is an absolute beast.
The question is, do you watch that game
Or the Tennessee
or
Alabama.
Tennessee Alabama?
Well, good thing I have 2 TVs.
I was just saying, yeah, for you.
Um,
So you are booked. So some would say
3
booked
o'clock?
at 3 o'clock.
not a good time for me.
Well, that's gonna be tough this weekend.
Oh yeah,
You better hope the TV on.
that's true. I don't have 2 TVs at that time.
Yeah.
But anyways, Nick Clifford. They were saying this. So the great part is all these smaller games or smaller school, as we go to the West Coast,
Mhm.
they're usually on FS1. So if you have FS1, then that's a good channel to watch some of the smaller schools that might make the NCAA tournament. But apparently, Nick Clifford, late first round, early second round draft pick
Really?
coming up. Yeah.
I will say this: I feel like the
So-
small schools, they always have like some of these small schools have these dominant guys.
Yeah.
But I think the difference is too that what you notice is these dominant guys are usually in forward positions, whatever, and they just do it all.
Yeah, he's really playing like a 3-4 for
Right.
them. But
But in the
I mean,
NBA,
he's grabbing over 10 rebounds.
well, he's just the most athletic guy on the court.
He is very athletic.
So it's like, hey, we're just gonna stick our guy.
But they were saying that he's a 2 in the NBA,
how big?
which I don't see. I think he's 6'6".
Well, I mean, yeah.
But I don't think he shoots well enough to be a 2. Like, I could see him a 3 because he's athletic, but I don't think he shoots well enough.
The crazy thing about him is he's averaging 17.9 points, so we'll say 18.
Yep.
10.2 rebounds. 10.2 rebounds a game is still 11th in the nation.
Mm-hmm.
That's insane. That's a lot.
Yeah, but he's a 6'6" guard.
That's what I'm saying. He's their do-it-all guy.
Yeah. And I've watched quite a few Colorado State games lately. But
he shoots decent from 3. He shoots 3 or 4 threes a game. I mean, he's on the season.
What's he shooting?
36%.
All right, that's actually
both 2 years in a row.
What I love is he's always one of the top guys on the free throws, but they do the thing where the bottom guys like just get into their guys, and then he loops around, and it's his job to grab every single missed free throw. He probably has 4 of those games.
So one guy does the grind at work, and he just
the
scoops it
bigger
up.
guys on the bottom block out the guys, and then he loops around and is there to get the ball. And that happens 3 to 4 times a game.
That's smart. Just know where to be.
Any other games on Saturday?
No. I will say though the difference too with I feel like FS1 is always the Big East, isn't it?
Big East and Mountain West.
Okay.
Yeah, those two, which is why I like watching those games.
So that's usually the late night one.
Creighton, Colorado State,
Is the UConn in
Utah State,
Yep.
UConn, St. John's will be on there. So like, I don't know. I enjoy watching those games because it's teams that have a chance to make the tournament and they could like win in 1 or 2 games.
Yeah.
So.
There it is, yeah.
All right, and then on Sunday. Oh, we got Gonzaga, San Francisco, late night, 10 p.m. on
That's
Saturday.
the late on Saturday. That's pretty much battling for what, the 2?
Second
Yeah,
place,
second.
which in the WCC is big seed.
Because you basically get to buy all the way till the semifinals, right?
Correct. In the second seed, if you're a 3 seed, you got to play 1 game, and then you play the 2 seed, who's waiting for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, would you rather be the 3 and play a team and then play this other team, or would you rather be waiting?
Yeah, I think,
Get a game under your belt, get the mojo flowing.
Yeah, I think you almost want to get a game under your belt because you don't play at your home court. Isn't that at a neutral?
I believe it's usually in Vegas or something.
That's what I'm saying. I think you'd almost rather play 1 game, get the mojo. Granted, it's always the thing of
you'd have to win 3 games to win the WCC.
Yeah, it's always the thing of no. If you get a bye to the semifinals, you win 2.
If you're the 3 seed.
Oh, the 3 seed, yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it is one of those things like it's always you can kind of get the momentum, but there's always the flip side of like, well, you do have a chance to lose.
You do have a chance, yeah.
Because the hard part is with that, it's one of those things where it's like, hey, you have a chance to lose in the sense of there's a lot of teams who are literally playing for their lives and they do not care. And they have the momentum.
Is San Francisco
In the tournament?
Yeah. I don't think
they are. But I think Gonzaga is.
Yeah. Gonzaga is. They're an 8.
They're 8.
Yeah.
So what?
San Francisco.
Nope. It says only in West San
All
Francisco.
right.
So that's a big game.
So, I mean, if they win that, they could be knocking. Or it's probably more important for San Francisco to be the 2 seed because then they can beat Gonzaga, hopefully, and then they would have a chance to beat St. Mary's.
I will also say it's very interesting how, so like you just said, so like hypothetically speaking, San Francisco, which 22-7, obviously probably hasn't played as many guys, but Gonzaga has, I mean, they beat Indiana, but Indiana's not a tournament team. Baylor, 1 tournament team. They've literally beaten 1 tournament team.
40.
Yeah, first game of the year.
It's still
100%. No, it's a big game, but I'm saying look at these losses. Oregon State, Santa Clara. You didn't beat your number 1 team. You don't have very many good wins.
Yeah, they got swept by St. Mary's.
Right. And you're an 8 seed.
Yeah. That would make me nervous. Lost to UConn.
Kentucky, UCLA, West Virginia.
Any team that's worth anything.
Besides, yeah,
I
Baylor.
guess technically they beat San Diego State.
Yeah.
They're okay.
They're not as strong, yeah, but no, 100%. But that's what I'm saying is, and San Francisco, granted, probably didn't play those teams, but San Francisco lost to Memphis, Clemson, who are both and granted all. I mean, Santa Clara is just upsetting these teams. They're 17, but
maybe they'd be the 6th seed.
Oh, look at this, Santa Clara. They are decent. They're 4th.
Oh, so they'd be playing Oregon State to play Gonzaga.
Or San Francisco, whoever's the 3 seed.
No, if they're 4 and 5, then they'd be those Santa Clara, Oregon State would be playing to play St. Mary's in the semifinals because 4 or 5 would be playing.
Yeah, St. Mary's and then San Fran would play Gonzaga, right?
Yeah, Gonzaga would play Loyola Marymount.
Yeah, unfortunately, your boys aren't doing so hot this year.
They're never doing hot. Back when they had Colby Ross.
Yeah, that bro.
They were
thick Kobe.
They were electric.
Okay, electric. We can't just throw around that term, but they were good. They were good.
They got a guy in the NBA.
That's great. No, they were good. I'm telling you, they were good.
They almost beat Gonzaga in the WCC tournament when Gonzaga was legit.
Yeah. Dude, I'm telling you, when you're playing for your lives, you play differently.
Yep. Then they lost that. They got a different coach. It's all downhill.
Worst team ever played. Kind of state. But yeah, I mean, I don't know. A lot of big games. The difference is that I think the
Sunday there's not really, other than than Wisconsin, Michigan State, 12:30 Sunday.
Well, and I think what the difference too on top of it is, not only are you starting to have teams play for their lives in the conference tournament, but it's one of those things where like I feel like towards the end, and we'll talk about this in 2 weeks before the major conference tournaments. A lot of those teams that are playing in the conference tournament know that they're already in or on the bubble.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be interesting to see what happens that way, but we've got a ways to go. We got a few weeks before that. A lot can change in a few weeks, some would say.